guidance and your wisdom. And so, because you say in James chapter 1, verse 5, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. You know, the guidance and wisdom to serve our citizens of Tiffin and to better their lives, but better our lives also. And we ask this in your name.
Amen. Let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you. I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Snee.
Here.
Councilmember Thacker.
Here.
Councilmember Hayes.
Here.
Councilmember Herniman.
Here.
Councilmember Kaler.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
And Councilmember Reesner.
Here.
Thank you. Let the record show all 7 members of council are present this evening. Minutes from October 7, 2024, regular and committee of the whole were distributed. Any questions, corrections, or deletions on those? Okay, stand approved as distributed. We are now under committee reports. Finance Committee, Councilmember Reesner.
No report, Madam President.
All right. Along Community Planning, Councilmember Kaler.
No report, Madam President.
You Materials and Equipment, Councilmember Jones.
No report, Madam President.
Personnel and Labor Relations, Councilmember Hayes.
No report, Madam President.
Recreation and Public Property, Councilmember Snee.
No report, Madam President.
Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers, Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, Council President, I do have a report. A Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee meeting was held on October 15th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. on site at 254 East Market Street, the corner of Circular Street, Tiffin, Ohio 44883. Attending were committee members Cheyenne Thacker, Aaron Jones, Scott Herniman, Kevin Reesner, and Dennis Snee, along with City Administrator Nick Dutro, City Engineer Matt Watson, and Paul Rubenstein representing one of the petitioners. Thacker called the meeting to order. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss alley vacation petition number 2024-04 and any other business that may come before them. Thacker read the responses of department heads regarding the potential alley vacation. The department heads had no issues with the vacation. Mr. Rubenstein gave the committee more information about the project on that site. He is managing the construction of the project, which will be a drive-through Dunkin'. Jones motioned to have the law director prepare legislation to vacate the alley. Snee seconded the motion. The motion passed 5-0. Herniman brought up the issue of sidewalks. Herniman had been contacted by Randy Ware, owner of Champs Barber Shop and Clover Club. His sidewalk in front of Clover Club is sinking, and Ware wanted to know what the city would do about the sidewalk. Watson expressed that he had also been contacted by Mr. Ware about his sidewalk. Sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owners of commercial properties, just like they are for residential owners. Watson also gave the committee an explanation of prior sidewalk projects in his time at the city. With no further business, the committee adjourned at 5:59 p.m.
Thank you. Any questions on that report? Okay, thank you. And Economic Development and Downtown Planning, Councilmember Herniman.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Committee of the Whole. As a reminder, the Committee of the Whole for November 4th will be adjusted as the start time to 5:30 p.m. for our annual budget review with the department heads. We are now under the reports of the officers. His Honor, Mayor Lee Wilkinson.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few items here. The Ellis Street Bridge dedication in honor and memory of Rich Fote will be on Wednesday, October 23rd at 4 o'clock at the east end of the bridge. So mark that on your calendar. Leaf bags are available for leaf collection at several stores around town. You can check the Tiffin City webpage and click on the link to news to find all of those stores that carry those leaf bags for us. Public Works will be picking up those bags from your curbside starting Monday, October 28th. Halloween parade is this coming Saturday on the 26th at 10 a.m. And the citywide trick or treat is Sunday, October 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. In lieu of that, some people might want to attend the annual truck or treat or touch a truck out at the fairgrounds, also Sunday from 11 to 3 p.m. And then looking a little farther ahead. Daylight savings time starts on November 3rd. So be ready for that. Carry your flashlights with you. And that concludes my report, Madam
Thank
President.
you. Thank you. We are now under Clerk of Council, Ann Forrest.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Director of Finance, Kathy Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam President. There are several things this evening I'd like to touch on. First is a legislation that's in your packet. Ordinance 2477 is up for third reading. That is for the 2025 street paving program, so you'll be voting on that this evening. Ordinances 2487, 88, and 89, we have requested suspension. And 87 is for the municipal court, and there is a grant for pivot court in there, and also they need some more money for their postage, $5,000 to get through the rest of the year. 2488 is for the fire department. There are two grants there, one from Walmart, and that is for some ballistic equipment, and also Ohio EMS, there's a grant there that they would like to spend some money to get some more equipment that is needed. And 2489 is for the fire station floor, so we would like to get those suspended if possible, so we could get that going as soon as possible. And I also have your financial report for September. Total receipts for the month, $4,356,934.53. Total expenses for the month, $3,928,274.24. The general fund unencumbered balance is $6,259,512.48. Income tax receipts for September 2024 were $1,311,141.40. Total annual increase in income tax collections for September 24 when compared to September 23 is $316,942.31. Year-to-date, the income tax receipts are up 7.39%. The 0.25% portion of income tax receipts that was transferred into Fund 215 for public streets for September was $162,516.33. The unexpended balance for all funds is $40,588,567.76, which is the same as the bank balances for the same time period. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to accept the financial director's report for month ending and bank reconciliation for the month ending September 2024.
Thank you. There's a motion to accept the Finance Director's report and bank reconciliation for the month of September. Is there a second? Councilmember Herniman.
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. And Director of Law, Zach Fowler.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I do have, as my kind of last time being the credit card compliance officer, I do have the quarterly report that I did give to the clerk. My apologies for not giving all of you a copy. There's been no change since the last quarter, really. There's been no change since the beginning of the year. But Ann does have that report for any of you that want to review that. Beyond that, I just wanted to give just a couple little kind of follow-ups from last time. One was just, I just thought it might be interesting for you all, was that we talked about the medical, or the non-medical marijuana and the excise tax, the 36% that's coming this way, of the 10%. But there was talks of, well, how much money is being generated. The Division of Cannabis Control does post weekly the sales numbers for that. So as of October 12th, the total product sales for non-medical was $109.5 million in the state. And so that's from when they started in early August to then. So how much, we have one dispensary here in the city, how much they're generating, I couldn't tell you. There will be some money eventually. And I can't tell you the mechanics of when or how that money comes to the city, but we will eventually see some money. I did follow up with the attorney at the Division of Cannabis Control about this approved purpose, what this money can be used for. I still don't have a response from them. If I ever get one, I will let you all know. But I just thought food for thought on the status of the recreational marijuana here in the town. We did get another, I think since our last time, we did have a dispensary reach out that the state put them in a zone of where they could go. Tiffin was one of those areas. They were just inquiring about our regulations, which we don't really have any. But just so for your information, if anyone asks, is that there's limitations on where they can go. They can go within 500, they can't be within 500 feet of certain places, schools, public playgrounds, churches. Once you start to map that out, that really limits where they can go. They also can't be within a mile of another dispensary. So once you plot a lot of that out in the city and then mix in, they'd have to be in a zoning area that's at least commercial. Where they can go really shrinks down. So just in case, you may get asked as we start to see more dispensaries pop up. That is it. In the past, you have done a motion to accept the report. That's at your discretion, I guess.
Thank you
Yeah.
for the reminder. Would someone like to make a motion to accept the credit card report as presented by the law director?
Is it possible to delay it until we actually see the report?
You may.
Huh?
You may.
Yeah. I'd rather
Sure.
do it that way, yeah.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we are now under written communications.
We have Mayor's request for legislation number 24-43, appointment to the Architectural Board of Review with Skylar Metter.
Thank you. Mayor's request for legislation number 24-43 will be assigned to the Personnel and Labor Relations Committee.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-54 to amend the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the municipal court budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-54 is prepared tonight as ordinance 24-87.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-55 to amend the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the building maintenance capital budget. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped the line.
Okay.
To appropriate funds into the fire department budget.
Perfect. Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-55 is prepared tonight as ordinance 24-88.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-56 to amend the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the building maintenance capital budget.
Thank you. Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-56 is prepared tonight as ordinance 24-89.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-57 to amend the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the fire department budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-57 is prepared tonight as ordinance 24-88.
And Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-58 to amend the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the municipal court budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-58 is prepared tonight as ordinance 24-87.
And that concludes the written communications.
Thank you. We are now under oral communications. Anyone wishing to address council may step to the podium, sign in, and direct their questions to myself. We are now under motions. Are there any motions this evening? Okay. We are now under resolutions and ordinances.
Resolution number 2024-41, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. A resolution authorizing the mayor to apply for, accept, and enter into a Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, WPCLF, agreement on behalf of the city of Tiffin for the design of wastewater facilities involving the main interceptor project, designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the first reading of resolution 24-41. Councilmember Thacker.
I move to suspend City Council's three reading rule and immediately pass resolution 2024-41.
Thank you. There's a motion to suspend council's three reading rule and immediate passage of resolution 24-41. Is there a second? Councilmember Snee.
I second that motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Sure, I'll add some discussion. So basically, we're hoping to get this passed quickly because we want to keep our funds kind of continuing without having to start paying for our planning loan while we're working on our design loan. So it's just to keep this project moving.
Sure. Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Resolution 24-41 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 2024-77, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. An ordinance authorizing and directing the city administrator to prepare plans and specifications, advertise for and receive bids, recommend and execute a contract for the 2025 street paving program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the third reading of ordinance 24-77. Councilmember Thacker.
I move for passage of ordinance 24-77.
Thank you. There's a motion for passage of ordinance 24-77. Is there a second? Councilmember Herniman.
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Thacker.
I just want to give some kudos to Matt for putting together these projects every year for us. He really does a great job making sure that we're taking care of the roads that need taken care of and also keeping in mind projects that are coming up for utilities. So that's all.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll first, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I just wanted to add that we're allocating $975,000 for the street paving project for the next year. And those roads are based on kind of like what Council Member Thacker was saying, that, City Engineer Watson, he has a rating system of 1 to 8. So, based on that criteria, those roads are prioritized through the paving system, the paving program.
Thank you. Law Director.
And just to add in that this is money that comes directly from that road and bridge levy. And this is what really, we've done the bridges, but now we're really rolling into tackling more roads. And yeah, for those that know, that Matt does a wonderful job, because even the list that came to you had to get adjusted last minute because some of the private utilities changed their timeline on certain projects, and that moves some roads back, moves some roads up, and it's always a moving target. But Matt works really hard to get you a list of roads that we can pave. And also bear in mind, you passed legislation this year that we changed the street cut so that once these are paved, we're trying not to have them cut for at least 5 years, absent some emergency.
Thank you. If there's no other discussion, we will first vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Thank you. Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Ordinance 24-77 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 2024-86, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. An ordinance responding to petition number 2024-04, vacating the alley off of East Market Street running north-south between lot 60, number 62 of George Feege's addition and lot number 1 of Feege's replat of lots 63 to 67 of George Feege's addition in the First Ward of the city of Tiffin, Ohio.
Thank you. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-86.
Ordinance number 2024-87, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2024 budget ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the municipal court budget.
Thank you. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-87. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 24-87, suspending City Council's 3-reading rule.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's 3-reading rule and passage of ordinance 24-87. Is there a second? Councilmember Hayes.
I'd like to second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. This ordinance deals with the municipal court. There's 2 accounts affected. One is for the Pivot Fund, getting a $45,000 grant. Great program, by the way. And also supplies and materials is actually getting $5,000 allocated to it. So this is for postage increases for the remainder of the year.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Ordinance 24-87 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 2024-88, an ordinance amending the 2024 budget ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the fire department budget.
Thank you. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-88. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 24-88, suspending City Council's 3-reading rule.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's 3-reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 24-88. Is there a second? Councilmember Jones.
I'll second that motion, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. This deals with the fire department budget. There's 2 accounts affected here. A $2,500 for one account and $33.92 and 36 cents for the other account. Deals with grants and ballistic equipment purchases with them. Thank you to Walmart for the grants.
Thank you. If there's no other discussion, we can move to vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Ordinance 24-88 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 2024-89, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2024 budget ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the building maintenance capital budget.
Thank you. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-89. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 24-89, suspending City Council's 3-reading rule.
Thank you. There's a motion for suspension of council's 3-reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 24-89. Is there a second? Councilmember Thacker.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. This ordinance deals with building maintenance, bringing $62,000 additional dollars into the property and equipment budget under capital improvement. And the purpose is for the structural repairs of the fire station floor, which were as a first step toward the initial discussions we had back in January regarding this.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And Reesner.
Yes.
Ordinance 24-89 passes with a vote of 7-0.
And that concludes the legislation, Madam President.
Thank you. We are now under other business. At this time, I would like to announce a public hearing to take place at the beginning of next City Council meeting on November 4th at 7 p.m. for the purpose of the alley vacation under Ordinance 24-86, petition number 2024-04. Does anyone else have anything for the council this evening? Councilmember Hayes.
Yes, thank you. A Personnel and Labor Relations Committee meeting will be held in council chambers on October 28th at 5:15 PM. The main purpose of the meeting will be to discuss Mayor's request for legislation 24-43. This is an appointment to the Architectural Board of Review. We'll discuss any other business that comes before the committee.
Thank you. Anything else to come before council this evening? Okay, seeing none, we can adjourn. Thank you.